Hey everyone, Nick Sakalis here. Hope you're doing well, staying safe, and taking care of yourselves. Figured I'd put a video together now as I'm driving down to Astoria to kind of give everybody a little bit of a mindset of what's happening with the rental markets in the boroughs, especially everything outskirting the Manhattan itself. There's been a shift, and there's been a little bit of a change that has not been really talked about, and it's not really in the public eye right now. And I think it's important that everybody kind of realizes what's happening with some of the rental units that are becoming available in areas like, especially like Astoria, Long Island City, Woodside, Sunnyside. If you go on the other side of Brooklyn, like Williamsburg, those kind of places, you're seeing a shift as far as where the rents are. You know, we saw a lot of stuff going wrong over the past year or so. You know, it started well before that. Actually started when the rental laws had changed in June of 2019. But you know, everything got super amplified, just like anything, every other industry, during our lockdown phases and our quarantines and this whole Corona situation. Eviction moratorium, everything that has been compiled on us over the past few months. The thing that has been changing is, for a long time, you know, since I want to say March, April of 2020, a lot of the larger units were not renting out because of the reason that you had a cooperative kind of agreement with tenants and landlords, where you had situations where a lot of tenants were renting out larger units and, you know, splitting the cost between themselves and their roommates. You know, you could get a 3-bedroom apartment, have 3 roommates, and have it to be affordable and be able to live like that, you know, in the city or outside of the city. Now, because of everything that happened with the fears that were taking place in quarantine and lockdowns and not wanting to be in type of environments, we saw a phase out of a lot of those roommate situations take place. A lot of the people that were formerly roommates no longer wanted to be roommates with other people, just for the reason they needed to feel a little more isolated and make themselves a little more comfortable of not having to fear walking around with a mask and that kind of thing. You had that situation where people were in the same apartments and they were wearing masks inside their own places because they didn't want to be near the other person, because, you know, they didn't necessarily have a personal relationship. They just had a coexisting relationship in that unit. So that kind of phased out, and you saw a lot of people not necessarily wanting to get into these larger units anymore. The problem was the larger units went for a lot more in rent than what, you know, the 1-bedrooms went for, the studios, and even the 2-bedroom apartments. So the 1-bedrooms, 2-bedrooms, and studio apartments in these areas were doing okay. They weren't having issues as far as being rented out because there was still a demand of people wanting to rent out these kind of places. It was the larger units of 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, and above, even the whole houses, that were causing this issue. Now, the shift that we saw over the past, I don't know, 2 months or so, was that prices started to come down on these larger units because the landlords just can't hold on to them for an infinite amount of time without renting them out. So law of supply and demand says, you know, you got too much inventory, you got to bring the price down in order to get it off the market. So there was a lot of resistance to this, and there's a lot of reasons why you had the resistance of lowering the prices. 1, mortgages, 2, devaluing the units, a lot of different reasons that people were resisting to bring it down. And obviously, you know, cutting your bottom line as a, you know, a housing provider. You know, a lot of people are living off of these rents that they're collecting. That might be the only mode of income that they get. That being said, slowly but surely, a lot of these larger units have come down in price. And now what I'm seeing is a lot of these units that have come down in price are being swallowed up quickly by maybe a couple, maybe a small family, maybe people that necessarily wouldn't get these larger units previously because they were priced out of them, are coming in at very reasonable rates compared to what it was pre-existing. So my thoughts are, I don't know how long this is going to be, the leveling out period. I don't see it really lasting too long because we're right around the corner from rental season. We're in February right now. Typically rental season really starts to bloom in New York City in end of March going to April and lasting all the way through to somewhere in July. That's typically where your peak rental seasons are going, because a lot of people want to be in place with the unit before September. You know, sometimes for schools and all different reasons. Sometimes right after they come back from vacation, if anybody's actually going on vacation, that kind of thing. But typically, you know, by August, everybody's in their units that they need to, and then whatever overflow you have from them, so it starts to dissipate by September. So I see that there's going to be a surge of necessary people looking for units like this, and I have a strong belief that the rentals are going to start to increase again, slowly but surely, over the next few months, as more and more of these larger rentals are being taken up. So my point is, I think anybody that's actually looking to rent out a larger place that was previously locked out before because of price, whatever the situation is, financial restrictions, and they really want to make that move to get into a bigger place, I think now's their opportunity to do that. I don't know how long this window is going to be, but you know, when you could get a full house rental in Astoria for less than $4,000 with your own private parking and driveway in the back, I think that's, you know, pretty much telling you that you better take these type of places while they're still around. And it's not only in Astoria, it's happening in all the other outskirts and all the other nearby towns. Everything that's within striking distance from Manhattan is seeing this effect. You know, like I said, like you're seeing a house that's a full house rental for under $4,000 in Astoria. That's unheard of. It has its own parking and a shed and stuff like that. I'm not even promoting my own listings. It's not my own listing that I'm promoting right now. This is something that I'm going to go and observe for one of my clients and go just check what the condition is before he puts it on the market. But when you're looking at these kind of situations, you got to jump on them, because you're not going to be able to find these later on. I guarantee that. You know, sooner or later, everything's going to start leveling out again, and then you're going to see increases happening. And at the same time, you're going to get the roommate factor starting to kick in again. It's going to happen. It's not going to be as if people are going to be scared forever to be roommates with each other and share spaces. That trend is going to come back sooner or later. So you might as well grab a place for an affordable price right now. Enjoy it. Try to lock yourself up for a 2-year lease, or as long as humanly possible, to keep the rents down and enjoy them while they last. Because the one thing that I will tell you, real estate is cyclical. What goes up must come down, and what goes down finds its way back up. It's just the way it is. It's always been that way. And unless you have some kind of cataclysmic disaster like a nuclear explosion or something that happens in your territory, your area, it's bound to happen sooner or later. Now, we might have a longer trend right now because this kind of pandemic corona experience that we're living is not exactly something that you could take out of the history books for our city model. Although you could go back to the 20s, 1920s, and look at what happened with the Spanish flu, but that didn't necessarily reflect the same kind of situation that we have now, because obviously the population levels were a lot less back then than what they are now, and the necessity for housing was a lot less than what it is right now. So, that being said, those are my thoughts as far as what's happening right now with the rental markets. It's specifically the outskirts of Manhattan, and even in Manhattan to a certain extent. And I'll give you another update, more real estate tips as we go. And while you're watching this video, if you were able to actually sit through the whole experience, please take a moment to press the like button, put a comment down below, tell me if you think that I'm on target or off base on what I'm saying. And obviously, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe so you can be notified of all future videos that we put out there. Until then, have a great day and make a lot of money in real estate.